Welcome to part 7 of this series of analysis, Jehovah Elohim, God or Satan. In part 6, we saw how this God used spirit of insanity, evil spirit, to possess King Saul, making him insane. We also saw how this God sent lion spirit, 400 lion spirit, to possess the prophet of Israel to prophesy lies to King Ahab, deceiving him to go to battle, and they succeeded in deceiving the king to go and die in the battlefield because he relied on false prophecies prophesied with the spirit of lies from this God. So we saw that this God uses spirit of lies and spirit of insanity. Today, part 7, we are going to assess this God based on his own actions. So let's get started. This is not about atheism. I'm not challenging the existence of God, the Creator. I'm not challenging the existence of the mighty I am, the I am that I am. I am challenging the God of Israel, Jehovah Elohim. My challenge is that Jehovah Elohim, God of Israel, is not God the Creator, and that the Jehovah Elohim, the God of the Christians, is a creature, not a creator. He is an Israeli world deity, not even a good deity. That's what I'm challenging here. I'm not challenging the existence of God, the Creator. The source of all creation is not being challenged, but an imposter who claimed to be the source of creation is what is being challenged here. This God of Israel introduced himself to Moses in the desert, and Moses believed him, and we are believing Moses. First of all, we have to even believe that Moses existed, and we have to also believe that Moses actually wrote these things, and we have to believe that what he saw and the claim made by this entity is true. So it is belief upon beliefs. We are believing on the belief of Moses. Moses believed this entity to be God, and we are believing Moses believes. So it is belief upon belief. But we have the right to assess and verify whether this entity claiming to be God the Creator is actually God the Creator or not. And that's what we are doing. And this is part 7. So today we are looking at the actions of this God. Has Jehovah Elohim exhibited the qualities of God the Creator? He claimed to be God the Creator. Has he exhibited the qualities of God the Creator? The qualities of God the Creator is spelled out in the Bible, all right. But spelling out qualities and actually exhibiting the quality is a different thing altogether. You can claim to be loved, but are you loving? You can claim to be merciful, but are you merciful? You can claim to be forgiving, but are you forgiving? So claiming to have a quality and actually exhibiting the quality is different thing altogether. So these qualities of God the Creator that has been attributed to this Jehovah Elohim, this God of Israel, has he actually exhibited these qualities or not? For us to know whether he has actually exhibited the qualities of God the Creator, we have to know the qualities first and then look into the Bible to see whether he exhibited those qualities or not. And as we look at the earlier part, we assessed him earlier on qualities of love, forgiveness, and mercy. And we saw that this God lacks any of these qualities completely. So today we are looking at his actions. His actions. So, but if you want to look at these qualities of Jehovah Elohim, love, wisdom, and forgiveness, you can check my channel for that video. That was part 4 of this analysis. Talking about atrocities committed by this God of the Christians, let us start from Egypt. Reading 1 or 2 verses may not help much. So let me narrate the background of the story before I read those few verses, because we can't read all the text. But the summary of the story is this. This God introduced himself to Abraham and took him from the land of Ur into the land of Canaan. And the grandson of Abraham, called Israel, migrated from that land of Canaan to Egypt. Things were rosy at first, but later things get bad. And after 400 years in Egypt, the Egyptians enslaved the Israelites in Egypt. So after enslaving them for some years, this God appeared to one of the Israelites called Moses and told Moses to go to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and request that Pharaoh should let the people of Israel leave Egypt and go to the desert to worship him. That was the pretext anyway, under the pretext of worshiping him, so that they will leave and come no more, so that they will escape from the slavery of Egypt. So this God sent Moses to the house of Pharaoh to go and make the request to let the Israelites go. This is the summary of the whole thing. So Moses went and made the request. But listen to what this God told Moses. Let's read that one. Let's read from Exodus chapter 4, verse 21. And the Lord said unto Moses, when thou goest to return to Egypt, see that thou do all these wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thy hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. So this God is sending Moses into the house of Pharaoh to let the Israelites go. And here he's telling Moses that I will harden his heart. So here God is sending Moses to go and make a request, but here God is going to harden the heart of Pharaoh to refuse granting the request. I told you, a mischievous being. I'm sending you to Pharaoh to go and make requests to let the people of Israel go. But I will take lead before you to go and harden the heart of Pharaoh so that he will refuse granting you the request. And when he refuses granting you the request, I'm going to punish him. Does it make sense to you? Go and make the request to let the Israelites go. But I'm going to influence him spiritually. I'm going to put a spell on him, or I'm going to send a demon or a spirit to possess him so that he will refuse granting your request, so that I can punish him for refusing to grant your request. This is what he's telling Moses here. And if you read the whole of this text from this chapter 4 up to chapter 12, you will see that he punished the Egyptians 10 times. 10 times. And each time he punished them for refusing to let the Israelites go, he will harden the heart of Moses, the king. And the king was the only one who had the authority to let the Israelites go. And the one who had the authority to let the Israelites go, this God hardened the heart of that person so that he will not let the Israelites go. And when he refused to let the Israelites go, this God will punish the Egyptians for their king's refusal to let the Israelites go. What kind of mischievous and evil and horror is this? I don't want to read all the distance, but to summarize it, he brought a whole lot of atrocities. Some include destroying their farmlands, destroying their crops, destroying their waters, destroying their livestock, infecting them with vermin and pestilence, infecting them with diseases, boils, and all kind of abominable things. Why was he punishing them left and right? He was punishing them because the king had refused to let the Israelites go out of Egyptian slavery. And why did the king refuse? It is the same God who hardened the heart of the king to refuse. And when the king refuses, then he punishes the entire Egyptians. Let's read chapter 12, verse 29. And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne, unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. So this God sent a death angel to smite all the firstborn of Egypt, from the firstborn of the king down to the firstborn of the prisoner, the prisoners, the slaves, the big, the small, everybody, including firstborn of their livestock, were all destroyed and deleted. Let me use that word. Instead of using the K word, let me use deleted. So he deleted all the firstborns from this earth. Deleted all the firstborn in Egypt, which means there was no house in the whole country that there was no death that day. And why did he do that? He did that because the king had refused to let the Israelites go. And why did the king refuse? The king refused because this same God hardened the heart of the king to refuse. So you are punishing innocent people who don't have authority to let the slaves go. Because they were all innocent people, he punished and destroyed the firstborns of the other slaves. Can you imagine that? You are fighting to rescue one group of slaves, and you are punishing the slave master, you are punishing the king and other slaves as well, which means that this God was not actually against slavery, because he punished the firstborns of all the slaves, he punished the firstborns of all the prisoners, he punished the firstborns of everybody on the land, including even animals. And all this punishment came as a result of Pharaoh's refusal to let the people go. And it is only the Pharaoh or Pharaoh who have the power to let the people go. And he is the one that this same God have hardened his heart to refuse to let them go, so that he can punish innocent people. Harden the heart of the king to refuse doing something, so that you can punish innocent people of the land. And it was not a small punishment, infecting them with diseases, destroying their farmland, destroying their source of water, destroying their crops with pestilence and vermin of all kinds, and all abominable things, raining hails and everything. 10 different acts of atrocities against Egypt. Why? Because Pharaoh has refused to let the Israelites go. So the question is, if this God is the father of all creation, will he do this thing? If this God have any amount of love, we are not even talking of divine love, ordinary love that we human beings have. If you have any small love in you, will you do these things? That's the question. This is a sign that this God don't have any kind of love in his heart. No love whatsoever. No love whatsoever in the heart of this God. Only mischief and evil. Because it's only an evil entity that will do this thing. Even I don't even hear of demons doing these things. This kind of evil is not even committed by demons. How can you be so mischievous? How can God the Creator be so mischievous and love destruction? Love, the only love in the heart of this God is how to destroy humanity, how to destroy innocent people. Even he was not punishing the slave masters alone, he was punishing other slaves who know nothing, who are also even seeking for their own freedom. People who were even, look at him saying that even those in danger, those who have even been captured and imprisoned, their firstborns were deleted from this earth. What have they done? They themselves are more slaves than even the Israelites that you are fighting for. They are more slaves. Some slaves are in prison and you are deleting their firstborn for the offense of Pharaoh. Is this God that created all these people that he was destroying? Is this same God that created the Egyptians? And is there any love in the heart of this God? Mr. Christian, who is defending this evil entity and claiming he is God the Creator, answer me. Was this God punishing the Egyptians because he was against slavery? No, absolutely no. Let's read Exodus chapter 21, verse 20 and 21. And if a man smite his servant or his maid with a rod, and he died under his hand, he shall be surely punished. Notwithstanding, if he continue a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his money. Look at this God who was fighting to deliver Israelites from Egypt. You may falsely think that he was against slavery, but look at what he's saying in Exodus chapter 21, verse 20 to 21. He's saying he gave the Israelites the law to buy slaves. So was he against slavery? No, because he permitted the Israelites to also own slaves after delivering them from Egypt. After delivering them from slavery, he permitted them to buy slaves from other people. So if he was against slavery, he would have forbidden the Israelites from buying slaves from any place, but he allowed them to buy slaves. And look at the regulation that he gave. He said that if the slave master beat the slaves and the slave didn't die instantly, he should not be punished. Which means that, in other words, you can beat your slave to the point of dying, but if you don't kill him instantly and he dies the following day or two, you've just lost your money. That's all. You will not be punished. Meaning the only punishment you will get is you losing your money. What money is he talking about? The money you used to buy the slave. So you can beat your slave to the point of death. Only that don't kill him, but beat him to the point of death. Even if he dies the following day, you will not be punished. You just lose your money that you used to buy him. Look at this law. Look at God the Creator. So is he the one who created the slaves? Is he this same God created the slaves and he's giving the Israelites the permission to beat their slaves to the point of death? Beat him. Only make sure that you don't kill him at once. If he died the following day, the money you used to buy him, you've lost it. Look at this evil being with evil law to the Israelites. And yet this is the God claiming to be fighting slavery. Was he fighting slavery? No. He was fighting for his own worship, his desire for worship. That was what he was fighting for. He has no feeling for any slave. So as I said, I can't go through all the atrocities he did against the Egyptians. I just pick one out of 10, where he deleted the firstborn of all the Egyptians. Let's move to another atrocities in a different place. Atrocity number 2. This one too, I will have to narrate the background story so that I will only read few texts. After delivering the Israelites from Egypt, he brought them to the desert and they were hungry. And he performed miracle or magic of conjuration or precipitation. So he conjured manna, a form of bread for the people to eat, conjured from the atmosphere. So every morning, the manna will be ready for them to pick. This God will conjure the bread for them and they will pick and eat. They were eating that bread in the morning, bread in the afternoon, bread in the evening. And they were in the desert for about 40 years. So for years, they have to depend on only this bread, no other food, but only one type of food. Who will not be fed up with one type of food? No matter how delicious the food is, we humans want to eat different type of food. We don't want to eat just one food forever. So the people started complaining that they need different type of food. They were talking about being in Egypt even when they were slaves. They were still getting different variety of food to eat. Now that you've brought them from slavery, they don't have food to eat. They are eating only bread, morning bread, afternoon bread, evening bread. Why? We are fed up with bread. Moses, we are fed up with this bread. We can't be eating one type of food. Then when they complained this way, this God got angry. And look at what happened. Let's read that one. Let's read Numbers chapter 21, starting from verse 5. And the people spoke against God and against Moses. Wherefore have ye brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water. And our soul loathed this light bread. And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they beat the people, and much people of Israel died. Look at this thing very well. That the people spoke against God and against Moses. What did they say? They said, wherefore have ye brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loathes this light bread. Why have you brought us out of Egypt to come and die in this desert, where there is no food and water, and the only thing available is this light bread, and we are fed up with it? This is what they said against God and against Moses. The question is this not a legitimate complaint? Which of you can eat bread morning, afternoon for years without complaining? How many of us can eat bread morning, evening, bread throughout? And look at what they are saying. Say it's even a light bread. Light bread. In the desert, light bread, no water, no food. Only light bread you are eating. Won't you complain? How many people can eat light bread for days without complaining, and for years? And when they complain, the only thing this God could do is to get angry for them complaining for food. And in his anger, he sent snakes, poisonous snakes. So look at it. This God was able to conjure poisonous snakes to bite the people for complaining for food. But he could not conjure different type of food for them. But he could. Now what I'm saying, that this God, all his powers are destructive. He doesn't know how to do constructive things, only destructive powers. So you are able to conjure snakes to bite the people and kill them, but you can't conjure different type of food. Why don't you give them bread in the morning, rice in the afternoon, and another different type of food in the evening? Why can't you do that? If you can control snakes, why can't you do that? A God who claimed that he created the entire universe, all the trillions of universes, all the trillions of galaxies, all the trillions of solar systems, all the trillions of planets and suns and stars in one day, you were able to conjure the masses of all these planetary bodies in one day, and you cannot give your people food to eat. You can't conjure food for your people to eat. And when they complain, you send snakes to go and bite and kill them. You, Mr. Christian, who is defending this God, aren't you better than this God? Aren't you better than this God that you claim to be God? Will you send snakes to go and bite your children if they complain of food? Will you even give your children the same type of food morning, afternoon, and evening? Will you do that? And if they complain, you get angry and decide to delete them from this earth and throw their corpse into the desert sand. Will you do that? You, Mr. Christian, you, Mr. Sinner. All the notorious sinners on this earth, all the evil men on this earth, no evil man on this earth will do this thing. I can't see any evil man on this earth who will pick serpents, poisonous snakes, and throw them into his children's room to bite and kill his children. Why? Because the children are complaining of food. And a legitimate complaint, of course. Is there any evil man on earth who will do this thing? Yet this God did this thing, and you, the Christian, you are defending this evil entity and calling him God. You don't know God. That's why you can call an evil being like this God. If you know who God the Creator is, you will not call an evil being like this God. No, you don't know what love is. If you know what love is, you will not call this being God of love. No, you won't do it. With this said, let us move to another place and observe another atrocity committed by this Jehovah Elohim. Atrocity number 3. This one also, I will give the background story and then read only 1 or 2 verses. The Israelites left Egypt and camped themselves near the land of the Midians. And they joined the Midians, took boyfriends and girlfriends among the Midianites, and participated in their worship. They were worshiping Baal. So the Israelites, because they've taken girlfriends and boyfriends among the Midians, started joining their sacrifices. So when they are offering their sacrifices, the Israelites will join them and worship their God, the God called Baal. And the God of Israel, as he already stated that he's a jealous God, got jealous and launched an attack against the Israelites with pestilence and plagues and destroyed over 20,000 men. Let's read Numbers chapter 25, verse 9. And those that died in the plague were 24,000. 24,000. If you read from verse 1 up to verse 9, and the whole chapter, or even the previous chapter upwards, you understand the whole story. And the reason for destroying over 20,000 were that they have joined themselves to the Midianites to participate in sacrifices to another god, Baal. Just imagine this. Because the Israelites joined the Midians to participate in the sacrifices of Baal, this god launched an attack on them and destroyed 20,000. God of love, isn't it? God of mercy, isn't it? God of compassion, isn't it? Let's go to atrocity number 4. God instructed Moses to go to war with the Midians. Why? Because as we saw in the earlier slide, this God claimed that the Midianites influenced the Israelites to worship their god called Baal. And he launched attack and deleted over 24,000 of the Israelites. And he was not satisfied with that, so he has to take a revenge on the Midians. But I don't even know who influenced who, because it was the Israelites who went there to participate in their Baal worship. So if I'm worshiping my God, and your children comes to join me there to worship my God, what offense have I committed? The Midians were there worshiping their Baal, and the children of Israel came and joined. But this God took offense that they have influenced the Israelites to come and join their Baal sacrifices. And because of that, he has already deleted over 24,000 Israelites. And he organized Moses to go to battle against the Midians. Let's read Numbers chapter 31, verse 7. And they war against the Midianites, as the Lord commanded Moses, and they slew all the males. So they went to war against the Midianites and deleted all the males. But the female and the children, both male children and female children, were captured as captives and brought into the camp of Israel. And when they brought them to the camp, this God and his Moses, this is what they did. You can see that the soldiers who went to the war were kind and loving. You have expected soldiers to be the wicked ones, but here the soldiers were the loving ones and not the God. Why? Because the soldiers applied the rule, the battle law, war rules. In war, when your enemy surrender, you don't delete him. So, but this one, they even stated that they deleted all the male, whether they surrendered or not, they were all deleted. But at least the soldiers were loving enough to save the women and the children. So they captured the women and the children and brought them into the camp. But the leader, Moses, and the God leading them were not happy with that. And this is what Moses told the soldiers to do. Now therefore, kill every male among the little ones, And kill every woman that have known man by lying with him. But all the women children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. So here Moses, led by this evil entity called God of Israel, instructed the soldiers to delete all the male children, all male infants, no matter the age, delete them. And they were all deleted. And the women, those who are not virgin, deleted all of them. And they deleted all the female that were not virgin and left only the virgin girls and took them for wives. Is there any war criminal than this God? Because the soldiers were even loving and wise enough to save children and capture them. But this God and his Moses didn't have any mercy, but have to delete all the children. Infants, delete all infants, delete everybody except the virgin girls so that they can marry them. Is there any war criminal than this God? Is he the God that created the Midianites that they were deleting? For what offense actually? The boys that were captured and brought, what offense did they commit? Because the Israelites came and joined the sacrifices of Baal. But do the children even care about these sacrifices? Do the children do anything? What offense did these children commit that Moses should stand and watch the bloodshed of infant boys and women destroyed? For what offense? And is this the God that created these people? Is this the loving God? No. Absolutely no. Let's go to the next atrocity. Atrocity number 5. I talked about this in part 4 when I was dealing with love, mercy, and forgiveness. Whether this God is a God of love, mercy, and forgiveness. You can check my channel for details. But listen, the atrocities of this God, I can't skip over this one. I have to still list it. But since I've already dealt with it, I will not go into details, but just summarize it and move on to the next point. Here, in 1 Chronicles chapter 21, David offended this God. And the offense was that David carried out census of his soldiers. And this God got offended because David did not trust him. Because if you trust me, you will not count your soldiers. You are counting your soldiers so that you can put your trust in numbers and not in me, Jehovah. So he was offended. But one would think that if you offend this God, he will punish the offender. But no, this God did not punish the offender, but went through the entire Israel with death angels and deleted 70,000 men with diseases and plagues. And if the Bible says that 70,000 men were deleted, it means only men, not women, not children. And this was a plague. And if a plague destroys 70,000 able men, the women and the children who are even vulnerable then their numbers will be more. But even if the numbers are the same as the male, then we will have 70,000 men, 70,000 women, and 70,000 children. So we have over 200,000 people destroyed and deleted from this earth by this God for the offense of one man. And the wonderful thing is that he did not even punish David. This is complete insanity. I don't know anyone in his senses who would do this thing. At least to punish somebody who offends you is normal among women. That somebody have offended me and I hit him back. It's normal among us. But for you to go about destroying hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children because somebody has offended you is insanity. Complete insanity. Even the insane people on this earth, at times some people can go on shooting spree and kill like 20 people or so. Just because they are offended. I've heard of those instances among some people. But normally when it happens to that, the first thing we do is to send those people to psychiatrists for examination to see whether they are even in their correct senses. Because for you to go destroy innocent people because somebody has offended you somewhere is complete insanity. And this is what this God did here in 1 Chronicles chapter 21. And because he has more destructive power, he was able to destroy over 200,000 people just because David has offended him. And he did not even punish David. This is insanity. And the question now is, why should God, who created these people, go and destroy them because somebody somewhere has offended him? Is he God the creator who created these people and who have a joy of destroying them even when they have not offended him? Is he God the creator? Can you sincerely in your own heart say that this is God the creator who goes about doing such an horror that a demon will not even do? No demon do these kind of things. No demon. He's worse than the demons. Atrocity number 6. Let's go to the Bible and read from Joshua chapter 6 verse 1. Now Jericho was straightly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. Here in Jericho, the city was shut up because it was a fortified city. And they closed up the gates. Nobody came in, nobody went out because of the fear of the Israelites. They have heard how the Israelites are destroying other countries, destroying other tribes on their way, and anyone that they meet, they destroy them. And I've already told you about how they did to the Midians, how they slayed them, including their infant. So they were committing genocide along their path. So when Jericho heard that they were coming towards them, they quickly ran and shut up their cities. And these were led by this God who created the people of Jericho. Can you imagine that? What was their offense? What was the offense of the people of Jericho? Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They heard the Israelites are coming and they ran into their city and locked it up. That's all. Nothing. Because they were afraid of this genocidal people led by a world deity who have power to help them win every war. So they were sure afraid and locked up their city. Afraid of the Israelites. They ran into their city, locked it up. Nobody comes in and nobody goes out. That was the state of Jericho. And this is what this God told Moses and the people of, not Moses, by this time Moses was dead by this time and was left with Joshua, who was leading the people. And this is what he told him. Let's read from the same Joshua chapter 6. Let's read verse 2. And the Lord said unto Joshua, see, I have given into thy hands Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of Pharaoh. So, a city is there. They've not done you anything. They've not touched any of the Israelites. As for the Midian, he has an excuse that they influenced the Israelites to participate in their Baal worship. But for Jericho, nothing. No was no any accusation at all. Not even the flimsiest of accusation. But he said, I have given you this city. Go and take it. Go and take it means go and destroy it completely. That's what he meant by go and take it. And listen to what he said in verse 17. And the city shall be accursed, even it, and all that are therein, to the Lord. Only Rahab, the harlot, shall live, she and all that are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. Verse 19. But all the silver and gold and vessels of brass and iron are consecrated unto the Lord. They shall come into the treasury of the Lord. So the people shouted when the priest blew with the trumpet, and it came to pass when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great shout, that the walls fell flat, so that the people went out into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city. And they utterly destroyed all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, and ox and sheep and ass, with the edge of the sword. Can you imagine this? This God marched his people to a city that these people have never even gone into before. So, no offense. And he said, go and attack the city, destroy everything, man, woman, children, animals, every being, save only one person, an harlot, a prostitute. Only one prostitute in that city was saved by this God. So this was a total genocide against Jericho. And what was the offense of Jericho? Nothing. And he cursed the city. After destroying it, he cursed the land and told them that the only thing he did not curse was their money, their gold, their silver, their diamonds, whatever jewels and precious metals they have should be brought into the treasury of the Lord. In other words, it was armed robbery, whereby the people of Jericho were completely destroyed and all their riches taken into the treasury of the Lord. So this God is an armed robber. Not even an ordinary armed robber, because some armed robbers, when they come to you, they only need your money. So they will tell you your money or your life. So if you give them your money, they take it and they go away and leave you to go and live your life. But this God first went and destroyed all of them, deleted every one of them, including infants, so that he can take their wealth into his treasury. Such a wicked demon. Such a wicked entity. When pastors read this, you see them even happy with it, showing how powerful their God is, that he was able to destroy this city, which means their God is powerful. Wow, wonderful. You are jubilating because your wicked deity, your wicked demon that you are serving, went and destroyed an entire people, their women and children, everybody deleted and destroyed, and you are happy with that, claiming the power of your God to destroy other people. What kind of person are you to support this wickedness, this horror, this barbaric, an act that no demon even does? And you are supporting this thing and praising this demon for committing such a horror. Let me stop here before I get emotional. Let's go to the next one. Atrocity number 7. Let him give the background story to reduce the reading. As I told you earlier, when they were coming from Egypt, they were destroying other tribes on their path, committing genocide here and there. Then Amalek heard that they were coming their way. And the Amalekites, they were very strong. So they refused to allow the Israelites to pass their way. But Moses sent people to go and inform them that they are not going to attack them. They are just passing. But the Amalek didn't trust them because they were attacking everybody on their path, as we already saw in Jericho, in the Midians and others. So they also organized their soldiers to face them in battle. And that battle ensued between the Israelites and the people of Amalek. And they had a difficult time defeating Amalek. So this God took offense and marked them down. So now that Israel has become bigger and stronger, this God remembered what Amalek did to them. So he sent Saul to go on vengeance against Amalek. That when they were coming from Egypt, Amalek attacked them on the way and they fought a bitter battle. So now that we are stronger than them, we are going back to pay them dearly for what they did to us. But if you look at the time that they fought Amalek and the time that he was instructing Saul, I can say maybe even 100 years or more, several years. So a war that happened between them several years ago, because even in the wilderness, they spent 40 years in the wilderness alone before they settled down and had a king, Saul. So before they settled down, I think it was maybe almost 100 years. And this God said that several decades ago, Amalek fought Israel on their way. So I'm going to pay them. And this is what he did. Let's read 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 3. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not. but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. This is what the prophet Samuel told King Saul of Egypt, King Saul of Israel, to go and attack Amalek and destroy everything, man, woman, child, suckling, infant, animal, everything. Anything that breathes air into its lungs, don't spare it. And Saul went and deleted all of them except the king. He captured the king and brought some other animals. But even this God got angry that he spared one person. He got angry with Saul and dethroned him. He dethroned Saul for not obeying him and utterly destroying everybody in Amalek by saving one person, Agag, the king. Just imagine this thing. And that is where the term to obey is better than sacrifice came in. So when you see a Christian quoting that verse, to obey is better than sacrifice, this is where that statement came from. Because that God, that deity, told King Saul that it is better to obey him than to make sacrifices to him. I told you, destroy everything. Why did you leave some for sacrifice? Which means that destroying the entire city and saving one man is disobedience. Just imagine that. He destroyed everybody in the city and saved only one person and captured only one person whom he did not kill. I don't know whether that man was his friend or whatever. I don't know. But he decided not to kill that one person. So because he destroyed the entire city but saved only one person, it was disobedient that he has to be dethroned. This is how wicked this God of Israel is. This is how wicked the Christian God is. And the question is, you the one claiming that this wicked entity is the one who created everybody. Is he the one who created the Amalek? Is he the one who created the people of Amalek? Is he the one who created the people of Amalek? Is he the one who owns life? And just imagine this, for example, if he is the one who created human beings and the life of human beings emanate from this God and he has control over lives of people, then he can take the life away and leave the people dead. He doesn't need other human beings to go and help delete others. That one alone is even a sign that he is not God anywhere. Because before he can destroy other men, he needs other men. He needs you to destroy your brother. If he's the one who owns life, he can just take anybody's life without the need of any man. But if you want to destroy people, he will have to take others, recruit other people to go and destroy other people. Such a wicked entity. And the Christians will be, the pastors will be in church shouting that God is good. How good is this God? How good is this genocidal entity? How good is this war criminal? Such a wicked entity who delete people without remorse, who delete people without thinking, who delete an innocent people. Let's even look at the case of Amalek, for example. All the Israelites that Amalek fought against at this time that he was going for the revenge, all of them have passed away. Which means that all the people in Amalek who fought Israel when they were coming from Egypt, none of them was living at that time. None. Maybe those who were lucky to live maybe 120 years or so, there may be some old men and women who were still alive, maybe a few. But so all the current generation that were there, They may not even remember that there was a war between Israel and Amalek. They may not even remember. Yet this God is still keeping this vengeance and went and destroyed all the infants at that time. Look at it, destroying infants today because of the offense of their great grandfather who have passed away long time ago. This is how wicked this entity is. This is how unforgiving this entity is. Offend him today and he will destroy your grandchildren to 100 years, 200 years later. Such a wicked entity. And you call him, this is God the Creator. This is an insult to God the Creator. I will not list more atrocities because, as I said, atrocities committed by this God is numerous. You can list 1,001, but I'm just selecting few of them to show you how wicked this being is. Even if we go to his laws, the wicked laws, as I was pointing the law on the slavery to you, even his laws are wickedness. How can you make a law that you can beat your slave but don't kill him? And if you beat him and he died the following day, you commit no offense. Such a wicked entity. How can you call this entity God, the creator of all, the father of all, the source of all, when all this entity does is destruction of humanity, using other human beings to destroy other human beings? And you are calling him God. How can this be God? So even if you don't know God, if you don't know anything even about God, but even that term, the creator of all, if you believe that this is the creator of all, and he's going about doing this, can something click in your mind that, no, wait a minute, how can the creator of all be doing this kind of wicked things? How can no. You see, we human beings and Christians and religious people have blamed Satan for years, but none of them can even point anything that Satan have done. But look at the wicked and the horror committed by this entity called God. Let me conclude here before the video gets too long. Going through the Bible, I have not come across any verse in the Bible where the devil is blamed to have directly deleted somebody. The only place I saw it was in the book of Job, where the devil deleted the children of Job. But even that, it is this entity, Jehovah Elohim, the Christian God, that sent the devil to go and delete the children of Job. And even that story doesn't even look like a real story, let alone being the word of God. It doesn't look real story, let alone being the word of God. The book of Job. It's not authentic. The others I can say that it's a story. It's not the word of God, but it's a story of Israel. But the book of Job, nothing shows that it is even a real story. So apart from the book of Job, where the devil deleted the children of Job, and in this case, he was sent by this same Jehovah Elohim to go and delete the children of Job in order to test Job. So even just imagine that those who even serve this God collectory, those who even love this God, he can still go and delete their children, destroy their family, destroy everything of theirs in order to prove that they love him. Can you imagine you are serving God faithfully, then he comes and deletes all your children just to prove a point to his enemy? Such a wicked thing. So apart from these children of Job, I've not seen anywhere that the devil deleted somebody. If you know it, put it in the comment section for me. If you know where the Bible points out where the devil by his own deleted somebody or did harm somebody, injury or of any kind, the devil causing injury of any kind to somebody or deleting somebody from this earth. If you know it in the Bible, let me know, because I've not seen it. As I said, it's only the book of Job. And this book of Job is, to me, is not a realistic book. It's not even a story book. Because I have listened to pastors, I've searched, I've not come across anything that shows that that book is an authentic book. The reason I'm saying this is this. Nobody knows when Job lived. Nobody knows which country Job ever lived. And nobody knows whoever wrote that book. So, and a book that you don't know the author, neither the character of the book, the chief character of the book being Job is not known. The author of that book of Job is not known. So how can you convince me that this is even an authentic story, let alone being the word of whatever God of Israel? So going through the Bible, throughout the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, it is this God of the Bible, this Christian God who is always deleting people, who is always destroying people. I didn't even talk about Sodom and Gomorrah. No. I didn't even talk about the flood of Noah. No. It is this God who is always deleting people. It's this God who is always calling out collective punishment, even if he is deleting offenders. You will just defend him by saying that, oh, the people offended him and therefore he deleted them. But this God deletes innocent children, innocent babies, infants and sucklings who have done nothing. This God is a war criminal who carries out destruction without remorse and blaming Satan for it. And this is the same thing many people have learned. Somebody will go and commit heinous crime, and when he's arrested and sent to court, he will tell you that it's the devil that made me do it. Why? Because they are learning from this God. They are learning from this God. They will go and delete people. And when they are arrested, they said, it's the devil that influenced me to do it. And it's the same thing this God is doing. And these people are learning from this God. Because this God would delete people. And when you ask him, why did you delete these people? He said they are influenced by the devil. But the question is, why don't this God delete the devil? Why don't this God delete the devil? So who is the devil here? If the devil is the one doing evil, and we don't even know the devil, we only hear his name, but we don't see him deleting people. And this God is the one deleting people, and this God is the one committing every evil that you can ever think of on this earth. Any evil that you can ever think of on this earth has been committed by this God. Any evil you can ever think of, this God commits this evil. So who is Satan really, if not this God? Who is Satan really? That's the question. I don't know any Satan than this God. This God of the Bible, this Christian God, is the real Satan. Because he does everything that he accused Satan of doing. He does every evil. The Christians will always defend this God at all costs. They will tell you that he is God, and who dare you accuse him? He can do anything he wants. Really? If you have all power and all you can do is this evil, then you are evil. It's finished. It doesn't matter the kind of power you have. You are evil. If you have all powers and you can do anything and all you do is evil, then you are evil by nature. Even human beings who steal, for example, human beings who steal and go on armed robbery and commit all sorts of crime, they do it because they lack. Because if you have abundance of money, you will not take a gun and go and put it on somebody's head and say your money or your life. You won't do it because you have abundance of money. How can you steal if you have abundance of what you are going to steal? But look at this God sending his worshippers to go and commit genocide against Jericho in order to steal their gold and silver into his treasury. Armed robber. And you Christian, you are defending this wicked entity and telling me that he is God and he can do anything he wants. Yes, if he is God and he can do anything he wants and all he do is evil and evil continuously, then he is the evil itself. Can't you just see that? But they have told you not to reason. They've told you not to use your mind. They've told you to throw your brains away and use your emotions so you don't think anymore about this God. They have placed a spell on you so that you will support the wickedness and the horror and the evil of this wicked entity called Jehovah Elohim, or the God of Israel. But you don't know it. You won't see it. Why? Because you are under the spell of this God, and all his wrongdoing, you will support it. And there are many pastors who, you the one standing outside, you will see how evil the pastor is. Yet the members of the church don't see it. If we point out the wrongdoing of the pastors, the members of the church will even beat you. This is the same thing this God has done to Christians. He has blindfolded them. He has put a spell on them so that they will support every wicked thing that he does. And they don't see it. And they will always defend this entity. Right now that I'm saying, a Christian listening to me is angry to the bone. He's angry with me seriously for pointing out these wicked and barbaric activities of their God. Even though I'm not the one who even wrote all these wicked acts of this God. This God, according to Christians, according to theologians, this God wrote all these things that I'm reading. This God wrote all these things, so I'm not the one. And I'm not reading from satanic book. I'm reading from the Bible to you. This is the book written by this God about himself, how wicked he is. I'm not the one who wrote these things. So even if you're angry with me, then be angry with your God for writing all the wicked things that he did in the Bible. Blame your God, not me. I'm just pointing it out to you, how wicked this God is. And this thing is written by he himself. So you better examine yourself and think about it again, whether this being deceiving you to be God. And after all, who knows that he is God? It is his own claim that he is God, the creator, who claimed that he made to Moses, claimed that he made to his prophet. And we saw how he used lion spirit to influence his prophets to prophesy lies. So all his prophets in churches are possessed by lion spirit of this God. He possessed them with lion spirit and they will lie and prophesy lies. Can't you see it? If you don't know God, at least we know God is love. And this God of Israel and this Christian God has no love in him. God who is full of curses, full of vengeance, jealousy, all kind of wicked temperament. How can this be God the creator? I rest my case here. I will come to you with part 8. We will continue to deal with this God one by one, step by step, exposing the wolf in the sheepskin.